Welcome to Spirited Investigations and welcome to the Haunted History of Maine. This list of 10 is part of a playlist of gentle listening, spooky collections from across the USA. The screen fades to black so you can enjoy the stories without distractions. Please do consider a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Also, wish me luck with this one. There's a thunderstorm going on outside and I'm hoping to record this with no power cut. First is the Seguin Island Light, which is the second oldest lighthouse in Maine. Of all the haunted lighthouses of Maine, it might have the most gruesome backstory. It's a really good example of cabin fever, that's for certain. According to the tale, at some point in the 1800s, the lighthouse keeper bought his wife a piano to help with their boredom, all alone on the rocky hill. The story goes that she could only play from sheet music and only had one tune to play. After what was probably a long and depressing winter, and perhaps having heard the same song 100 bazillion times, he took an axe to the piano, then to her, and then to himself. Now it's said you can still hear piano music drifting languidly over the ragged shore. Number 2 on our list is the Devil's Footprint in Manchester, Maine. According to the New England Grimpendium by J.W. Ocker, a couple of hundred years ago, a crew of construction workers in Manchester were trying to move a decent-sized boulder, which, judging by pictures, was roughly the same size as a doghouse. The rock just wouldn't move, no matter what they tried. One of the construction workers climbed upon the rock and swore he'd sell his soul to the devil if the boulder could be moved. The next day, the rock had been moved, and the construction worker had disappeared. All that was left as evidence of the deal were some strange indentations in the rock. Those markings, foot-like in shape and reddish in colour, were dubbed the Devil's Footprint. And the rock is still there, though the footprint itself is worn, probably from people comparing their own foot size to that of the devil. It sits next to the North Manchester Meeting House, constructed in 1793, and is part of a wall that rings a cemetery. Third on our list is the Ghost Bride of Haynesville Road. It's the token white lady on a road entry for Maine, because nearly every state has such a story. Haynesville Road is in northern Maine on Route 2A. It runs through the Haynesville woods and is well known for tragic and bizarre accidents. The haunting is by a woman who can be seen walking along the side of the road. Many reports claim that after offering her a ride, she'll say she is a new bride, that her husband and her have been in a car accident and they need help. Then the air becomes incredibly cold and she vanishes. As with many stories I'm researching for Maine, it doesn't quite add up. I mean, she's asking for help, but goes poof and disappears before any help can be offered. On to number 4, which is a dormitory of the University of Southern Maine. The Roby Andrews Dormitory is on the Gorham campus of the university and has a history of tragic deaths and paranormal activity. Art and music students use the area nowadays, but in the 1800s it was a girls' school. It's said that a girl committed suicide within the building after she became pregnant and her boyfriend abandoned her. She hung herself on the 4th floor. Another girl was either pushed from the building or fell when she was crawling into the belfry tower. Along with strange noises in the attic, lights and TVs acting up and cold spots throughout the dormitory, there are reports of the figure of a woman standing in the closed-off tower. Halfway through this list we have the cursed tomb of Colonel Buck. When I first read this story, I thought the town was named for deer hunting, Buck Sport, but it is in fact Buck's Port, sitting on the bank of the Penobscot River estuary across from Verona Island. The tomb of the founder of Buck's Port, Jonathan Buck, has a unique legend attached to it. There's a weird foot-shaped stain on it that no one's ever been able to remove. It's said that it appeared after Colonel Buck ordered a witch to be burned and her leg rolled out of the fire. The witch's son then cursed Buck, saying the mark of the witch's foot would appear on his tombstone. Pictures online do show a strikingly clear outline of what looks like the lower part of a human leg, with a defined foot shape on the side of the large grave marker. At number 6 is Fort William Henry. The fort is located in the village of New Harbour in the town of Bristol, Maine, and was first built in 1692. I say first built because just 4 years later it was destroyed in a battle called the Siege of Pemaquid. It was, however, reconstructed in 1908. The fort belies its age, looking more like a traditional 13th century English castle than a wooden American fort that might be pictured. It was in fact an English construction built to defend the northern border of the state. Hundreds died fighting in the French and Indian wars surrounding Fort William Henry, and many of their spirits still cling to the place. It's also known for the death of Native American chief Alexis, who was hung from a tree just steps from the fort. His spirit is said to be present at the fort. People have been touched, whispered to, and especially at the front gate have witnessed glowing balls of light and shadows. At spot number 7, and with lightning now behind me, is the Admiral Peary Inn in Freiburg. It was the home of the famous Admiral Peary from 1877 to 1881. He was known for being the first man to reach the North Pole on April 6, 1909. The inn has a different type of haunting that you might find refreshing. The 8 to 10 spirits residing in the house aren't aggressive, instead they seem content. A little girl and a little boy appear in the bedrooms. The apparition of a well-dressed gentleman likes to sit in the parlour or move furniture in the Admiral's quarters. The spirit of a woman named Abigail is seen, who wears a 1930s style dress. She peers out of the front window and tidies up after ghosts. The aroma of a pipe often wafts through the parlour, while the delicious aroma of brownies being baked drifts from the kitchen. At number 8 we have the grand 19th century McClellan Swett mansion in Portland, which belonged to literary and art critic Margaret Jane Mussey Swett, who married a politician, Lorenzo de Medici Swett. She bequeathed the mansion to the Portland Society of Art. A male and a female ghost make their presence known, especially during renovations. Now, it's common for haunting reports to be made when houses are undergoing work on them, and this one does have a reason for hauntings at those times. The Society apparently broke the deed stipulation that Margaret placed on renovations, so it's very likely she wasn't pleased with the changes and continues to be angered with any changes as time goes on. The spirit of Captain Asa Clapp, whose family used to own the property, also patrols the mansion. For number 9 is Mount Hope Cemetery. Any avid Stephen King reader will immediately recognise Mount Hope Cemetery in Bangor. The iconic storyteller of horror used to regularly visit the 300-acre cemetery for inspiration, and from it came his story Pet Sematary. Also, he reportedly borrowed the names of some of his best-known characters, such as Carrie and Georgie, from headstones on the grounds. The Garden Cemetery opened in 1834 and became the burial place of several notable historic people, such as gangster Al Brady, Vice President Hannibal Hamlin, plus several generals and ambassadors. The ghost of Al Brady is believed to haunt the cemetery. Full-bodied apparitions have been sighted, disembodied voices greet visitors, and phantom footsteps follow people through the cemetery. Finally, Museums of Old York in York is one of the United States' earliest English settlements. The apparition of the White Lady there is a friendly spirit, though some call her the White Witch. She appears in the Historical Society building and likes to open and close doors. Visitors often experience sudden cold spots and cool breezes in the building before her apparition appears. Distant chatter can often be heard from the surrounding preserved buildings. Oddly enough, the children at the daycare across the street have said that sometimes a nice lady in white comes to play with them at recess. Thank you for joining me on this little journey. The computer stayed working and this got recorded. Maine has got a good variety of tales from around the state, and I was glad to share them with you. I hope you'll be here for the next one.